Alright, so I recently watched Chernobyl, the five-part series, and first things first, I want to thank my friend Connor for recommending me this show. It was um, it was really damn good. I'm kind of reluctant to start watching a lot of series because I just don't have a lot of time to commit to them, but I'm really glad I watched this one. So thank you for telling me some interesting things about the show, and yeah, getting me intrigued about it because it was worth it. It was definitely worth the time, that's for sure. So first thing I liked. So there's 11 things I like about this show, and the first thing is it's well shot. Like the camera composition is good. There's just some good frames here and there. Like there was parts where it didn't feel like a series. It felt actually kind of like a film in a sense. It actually was convincing. It was rather cinematic at points. So yeah, I like the camera composition in it. Next thing, now there's only one little moment that I noticed in the show that did this, but it's very effective. Now this was a scene my friend showed me and really got me intrigued. And that was this really cool long take. They're getting this thing off the roof. I don't want to say too much in case you haven't seen the show yourself. But they're getting rid of this stuff off a roof, and they do it in this one long take, and it's handheld, and it kind of adds to the tension, but also adds to the kind of environment they're in and how they're stumbling. The camera actually is stumbling somewhat too, and it's handheld. Works really well. But being a long take as well, it puts you in this moment with these characters, and they're pressed for time too. So you're out there real time with these characters. So I really liked that moment. I thought that was very well done. So the next thing is the color palette. I really like the color palette in the show. Just adds to the mood that they're in, and considering it's about this nuclear disaster and radiation and stuff, they use a lot of green and very just muted colors, I guess. And yeah, the color palette fits very well with the setting that they're going for. The next thing I liked was the acting. I thought the acting, just all around, everyone was really good. Who were some of the actors in it? The guy who played in Pirates of the Caribbean, Bootstrap Bill or whatever. He was good. I can't think of his name right now, but I'll get it up. But yeah, everyone really was good in it. Emily Watson or whatever, she was good. Yeah, there was no particular performance in this that I thought was like, average or bad. I thought everyone was pretty good in it, actually. I thought it was a well-acted show, for sure. I particularly liked Stellan Skarsgård and Jared Harris. I liked the interaction with them two, and them two characters, and how they kind of grow to like each other over time and respect each other. I really liked their kind of dynamic in the show. I'd probably say they were my two real standouts for the show. Like every scene they were in, I looked forward to seeing them in. So I very much liked their performance in the show, and also kind of like their characters as well. So moving on to the next scene, the music. Now the music isn't like this crazy, amazing, orchestrated score or anything really epic. It's really just atmospheric and really adds to the dread of this situation. And it's rather simple for the most part, but I think it works very well. I think it's something that probably would be overlooked in the show, but I really liked it. And they kind of add the sense with the gamma radiation reader thing, that tick, that noise. They add that somewhat into the score as well, particularly in the credits. I really like that score too. But yeah, I like the music. I think it's really adds to the setting. Once again, kind of like the color palette, adds to the setting, adds to the mood they're trying to go for. Alright, so the next thing is brutal and shocking moments. Now, they don't hold back. They don't pull back any punches in this show. They show some shocking stuff, and I'm glad they did, because it really shows how messed up this, thing was in history. And that's not a real big pull for me in shows or movies, is like, oh, it's based on a true story. That's not a thing that makes me go and see it, particularly. But this one, I'm glad that it was made, because it's very fascinating. With that being said, I'm glad that they didn't pull back on the realism that they're trying to go for like a rating, oh, I want to keep it rated M. No, they made it MA, and we're like, we're going to show this messed up shit, because this is what happened. So I'm glad they kind of did that for this show. The next thing is just moments of tension. So I like the tension in the show. And that's just due to knowing that these characters are in a very dangerous place, and you kind of feel tense for them. And particularly that rooftop scene, as I was talking about before, that long take, you feel some mad tension in that bit. But just even throughout the show, there's just parts here and there where you just feel tense, like just knowing that these people are really in danger and endangering themselves the longer they're in these environments. Alright, so the next thing is plot structure. The show isn't in linear format. It's not in chronological order. They kind of jump back and forth. But they did it in a way that gave it some great momentum. And I'm really glad they did it that way, because it kind of revealed certain plot points in a way to how the characters kind of found out. Particularly like the two lead actors, like that you kind of learn stuff along with them. And some other side characters too. But I really liked how they structured this. And you kind of learn it along with the characters. You don't feel like this entity watching over. You feel like you're connecting with the characters, and from the characters you learn about what's happened. So I really like how they did that in the show. Alright, so the next thing is number 9. It's very informative. I already kind of mentioned this. It's not a thing that sells me. You know, in shows or movies, it's based on a true story, you have to watch it. No. You know, I like creativity. I like, you know, a well-told story. Even like a based on a true story thing can still be somewhat skewed and all this stuff. So, you know, I don't get too pulled in with that whole based on a true story type of thing. But this was very interesting. This is one of those huge exceptions, but I was like, wow. And like, it wouldn't be as good as what it is if it wasn't for these other elements I said. If it was just this point, well, it would only have one thing I liked. But there is a bunch of other things. But that being said, it was very fascinating. So I loved how informative this show was. So the next thing is Intrigue. Because of the plot structure, they don't reveal certain things, so it creates a certain intrigue into certain parts of it, and you go, how the hell did this happen? And it really gets you thinking, because before I watched this show, I didn't know really that much about Chernobyl. I just knew it was something that happened. I thought it was just a pure accident, just some pure thing, they bumped something, and then boom. But no, it wasn't just that. It was a bunch of ignorance and bad decisions and lies and all this stuff. It was it's fascinating stuff. So I really liked the intrigue, but also I guess how informative this show was, as I mentioned before. And last but not least, the setting. So it's a fascinating setting once again. I didn't really know much about like Russia and how they did things, but I do have a bit more of an idea now and a bit more insight, and I find it rather fascinating just how they do things, I guess, and how, or even back then, how they did things. So yeah, really fascinating, really interesting show, and I think I definitely feel keen to watch this again. I've actually put a time again on my calendar to watch it again. So yeah, I definitely will watch this again at some point, because it was interesting, very interesting. I don't know if I'd add that as a point just yet, but I'm definitely intrigued to watch it again. But if I do watch it again, I'll definitely add that point as well if I want to watch it a third time, which I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case, because it's just an interesting show. I really liked it, and it was very well made, but also very interesting and informative and intriguing and all those things. So really great show. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. What are some things you liked about the show? Maybe some things you didn't like? Maybe some other interesting facts you know about Chernobyl? You know, just put all your thoughts down in the comments below. I'd love to have a conversation down there, and even some recommendations. Put some recommendations down there. Maybe a series, maybe more so mini series, not big long 10-season series, or you know, I really just don't have a lot of time to do that stuff. But that being said, I can easily do a lot of like mini series stuff, but not even just that, just movies. You know, some movies you want to recommend me that maybe are kind of like this, or just really anything. Just recommendations, thoughts, all down in the comments below. And yeah, thanks for watching, and catch you next time.